Go on is for the spiritual warriors. Before we come into this life, we understand that we are coming into a world of contrast and duality. That means we sign up to experience both the good and the bad. Now, I am a follower of Jesus, and I believe he was teaching kindness and principles to give us the blueprint on how to make it down here. Because although everything is of God and nothing is actually bad, the whole point of the human experience and expansion is growth. And whether you do good or bad things, that's your free will because you're an extension of God. So that's why, it's not that God lets these things happen, is that he gives you the choice, and free will is an absolute in his this world. So we choose into it, and the whole part of growth, you can only really grow if you're choosing to stand by your principle, by your choice. In other words, if you had someone over you, he does protect us, but who would intervene and keep you from experiencing bad things or negative consequences, then you lose that whole point of growth, which is what the universe wants. It's growing and it's changing in perspective, and it's doing it through all of our minds and brains collectively. So, my whole mission on here is to have people become consciously aware of that and to choose to behave by their principles as opposed to their feelings or their thoughts that are usually not accurate or very misinformed or filtered in a different way. It's just that it's why a lot of people find themselves very depressed and lonely. It's because they're making fear based decisions instead of love based decisions. Love based decisions require growth, and growth is synonymous with pain. And right now, a lot of people are choosing uh, comfort for one. Or they even get to choose to not believe in it at all. And God loves you so much that he's going to allow you to go down that path, especially if it's never been done before in the way that you're doing it. Because just like gravity, if you don't believe in gravity, it's still going to work for you. If you don't know or believe in electricity, you can still turn on the light switch and it's still going to work for you. So the universe is still going to work for you, even if you're believing that it doesn't work for you. And then it will conspire to make you believe that and give you events that continue that belief. And then that's when people find themselves in trouble. So I've become very, very consciously aware of my principles, even though it's taken a lot of homework to find out what they are. Because once you experience trauma, sometimes some people try to uh, let's see, they try to um, get you to behave out of those principles, or they traumatize you to the point where you don't want to stand for those principles. So if you're a 3 year old and your principle is justice and someone is treating you unfairly, you're going to have a tantrum. Uh, and depending on your people keepers, is depend and if you integrate that trauma or not in the future, it, it that trauma will follow you all the way until you integrate it enough that you start behaving from that principle again. Because the reason trauma happened was because someone didn't like it, and then they hurt you, so now you're afraid to behave towards that principle. And one of my principles used to be courage. I really liked it, but now I'm thinking it's going to be wisdom more, because I feel like when you have a principle of courage, you're always going to be in a state of fear. So they seem to, they don't change over the years, they get fine tuned over the years. So when you have a huge life change, like having a baby, then the principles seem to change dramatically, but they really don't. They just become more and more important to you because now you have a being that's dependent on you for their life. So I hope that explains principles and why it's so important and what we're doing here as humans. I think it's really special when a human chooses to be a good human and then goes out into the world and exercises their principles and then show a vision to the world of the world we could be living in if we were all living in alignment. Anyways, happy holidays. We'll see you next week and keep going.